enjoy yourself as we interview ourselves. So,
Okay.
I mean, you're not even having an interview, it's
As
just
we have a conversation.
just a conversation.
Alright.
So, Bernadette, I'm happy you've come.
Thank you so much.
This was abrupt, but you've definitely honored my invitation, and it's something to say
Always
about.
an honor.
Yeah. So, what people should know is that you're a change maker, especially when it comes to period poverty and hygiene.
Yeah.
So, for those that don't know, Bernadette is a change maker when it comes to eradicating period poverty amongst unprivileged people, people in the ghettos, right?
Yes.
People that can't afford pads. So she's taken it a step ahead by making pads, reusable pads that are eco-friendly and cheap, and will help. Actually, you told me that could go like for a year without having to buy another pad.
Actually, up to 3 years if you're very, very clean. Like
Okay.
if you can maintain and really wash them well, then you can actually use them for up to 3 years.
Okay.
Before you think of getting others.
Okay, so first introduce yourself. I think you can do it better.
Yeah, sure. My name is Bernadette Ojao. I'm a Karamoja, so one of those trying to make a difference. Yes. Like Francis said, I'm a change maker, I am a social entrepreneur, I am an environmentalist, I am an evangelist, I am a lot of things. But among all, I am that woman who is trying to make a difference
In society.
In society.
Okay.
Yeah.
I first saw your post on Facebook, I think when Airtel came to you.
Yes.
Talk to us about how that Airtel deal or situation came about.
You see, our parents take us to schools and we meet different people, and some of these people become our classmates. For me, there is a classmate I used to study with in primary. She's called Linda Batum. She's, I think, the CEO of Pure Events. One time I find her in my neighborhood in Nigeria.
Okay.
She's like, "Hey, Bena, what are you doing?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" "Hey, stay down. That's where my workshop is." And she's like,
she was a neighbor, or she just
had just come to visit her cousin, sister. I was like, "Okay, I have a workshop down there, and like you see, I always post about my work on social media. That's what I'm doing. I'm into menstrual hygiene and, through making products that are used for periods." She's like, "Wow, okay." And then we stopped at that.
Okay.
We didn't even go so far with it. Next time she calls me, she's like, "Bena, I'm nominating you for our 12 days of Christmas where we gift people who are trying to make a difference in society."
Okay.
And I feel like the work you're doing is so good. And I feel like actually we need to gift you.
Okay.
Now she puts in my nomination.
Okay.
And the team and they were so excited. They're like, "Actually, this is so nice. We go and see her." One day I'm here and there, and she's like, "You know what? We're giving you 8 million worth of products. What would you like?" I was like, "Oh, wow." Now, because I've been out there on the field, like in Karamoja, I think I remember once telling you how I went to Karamoja in March last year.
Yeah.
And then I had an interview with women because I usually talk about the things that I do. So I love to find out what are they using, where do they get. So I happened to interview an old, not so old, but a bigger lady.
Just drop the mic, yeah.
An older woman. On what young girls use when they're in their period. So she tells me this is in Karamoja.
Yeah, in 2021?
2021 in Karamoja, in Loreng to be specific, because we had gone to just see where they had buried my grandmother, my mom's mother.
Okay.
And her soul rest in peace. And I wanted to connect with the people and also tell them what I'm doing. So I discovered a lot of things. One of the senior women told me, girls here don't even have panties.
Undergarment.
So, they don't have undergarments, like knickers to use when they're in their period. So they don't even, there's nothing that they use. When you're in your period, you sit down, put a hole, then wherever you're going to, maybe to the next stop, you sit. Or if you're unable, you move.
You dig a hole and
And then you sit on it. So the blood drips. When you feel it's full, you cover it up with the soil, go to the next one.
next
Just to
destination.
trap blood. But that system limits your walking. It limits you from doing other activities.
Wow.
So I was touched as, okay, for these parts to be used, I need a panty making machine. So when Airtel gave me the opportunity, I had to make sure that they included the machine on the gift.
Wow.
And they really did. They gave me a panty making machine. And to add on, I had already gotten other machines from the Innovation Village when they funded me.
We shall come to that.
Oh, right.
But man, this is quite unbelievable. That someone has to dig a hole
Yes.
to trap blood. So if you're going to a destination that will take you like an hour, how many holes will you dig along the way?
I think more. Or sometimes, you see, the Karamojongs have that skirt. It's called...
That checkered skirt.
That checked skirt that they sew into very many different patterns. It's really heavy. So some of them will walk and
with
just
the blood
keep
dripping.
wiping with that cloth. But the discomfort that comes
the
with
hygiene.
The hygiene. So you go, maybe flies are following you.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, Karamoja is a dry place.
Yeah.
So sometimes they don't even have water to wash those cuts. So everything, the discomfort basically that comes because
It's quite
of
hard
not
to
being
imagine, man.
able to access things like pads, things like panties. And yet me, their daughter, I'm here. There are things that I've learned. So when I got that machine from Airtel, it was a Kickstarter.
Okay. Wow. So you're actually going to use the machine to make pants for these people, and how do you intend to distribute to them?
Well, how I intend to distribute to them, first and foremost, we want to hold campaigns because everything needs money. Yes, I am willing to work and produce using my machines, but then we'll need to fundraise. We want to do a fundraiser on a project called Toiletripper is not pads. Yes, it's a school thing. Because growing up, let me take you back. I grew up in Karamoja.
Okay. Actually, I was about to ask you about how where does this inspiration and passion to do this come from? And I think you first finish this part, and I'll take you back to that.
No problem. So I grew up in Karamoja, and my dad had left us by then. He had gone to stay with another woman.
Okay.
So we were struggling with that.
For those that don't know, Karamoja is a slum in Kampala.
Yes, one of the biggest slums in Kampala, but has one of the most intelligent people in Kampala.
Like you.
Like myself.
You're a product.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Myself.
Bobby
guys
Wine.
like Teacher Mavo. There are guys like Saddam, Bukenya. There are people like Bushman Papashanti. These are all creatives.
Yeah.
Inside there, Nectar, Edward of Chusa, Creative Arts 256. They're all trying to create change because we saw the challenges in Karamoja, and we are all trying to come out
with solutions.
Okay. Yes. So growing up, I was at Chitante Hill.
Okay.
But to be honest,
Chitante Hill Primary School.
Secondary school. Yeah. I had a challenge because my mother could actually barely get food on the table. So that meant that if I am in my periods, if I'm lucky, she'll give me the 3,000. By then, we're buying always pads. And some cases, and sometimes she would not. She would cut me cloth strips, or I would get old clothes like, bitenji, whatever is around, old T-shirts, clothes that we don't use anymore. And I would cut them into clothes, and I would pad myself with those things. But there are times when I was in school and my periods came without my knowledge. That is why we are advocating for sensitization of young people about menstrual health management.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you see, most girls, like recently when I was in Kasana, Mitiana, Luero, I happened to have young school-going girls on my stall, and I asked them,
for those that didn't know why you are in Luero, you had gone for Katale.
Yes, for the Women's Day Katale.
Yeah, so it's an event that gives you opportunity to market your product?
Yes.
Okay.
It gives you opportunity, and it's organized by the private sector foundation.
Okay.
Yes. So being a young person who benefited from the MasterCard Foundation under their Young Africa Works.
Okay.
So I was honored to come and speak and maybe motivate the women, that they can start with whatever they have and, not reach somewhere with it.
Okay.
Yeah, so taking you back, I was in school and in most cases my periods would come and the only solution was toilet paper.
Oh, hence the campaign.
Yes,
Okay.
was toilet paper. But toilet paper is not a pad, to be honest. Because you're going to wrap like a few meters of it, put it under your panty, move back to class. But the moment the blood comes, it stains that small space and it breaks. So on breaking, there are those particles that can maybe enter you without knowing. So you end up maybe getting blockage on your tubes because you don't know. Or the period shame. Once you stain your skirt and boys see you, you don't want to come to class the next day. You know? So
more like stigma or something.
The stigma that comes with periods. So all those things are the reason why we are actually looking at the toilet paper is not a pad campaign.
Okay.
This campaign is supposed to, we are looking right now at 600 packs of pads and including panties.
Okay.
And we are looking at each pack going at 20,000 shillings. We want to give out these pads to women, to girls in the most underprivileged.
People that really need.
Yes, that really need them.
Yeah. Let me get this straight. So what you're saying is for people that girls that can't afford these things. So you want to get well-wishers, people that can fund and buy this pads at 20,000 so that they can be distributed for free to these girls.
Yes.
Okay.
So that is how we distribute these pads. We get goodwill. People, we do fundraisings and we give back to the community. We give back, and also this helps us because we have a project called Wabibi Pads.
Yeah.
And we have women that we work with, women that are sewing from their doorways, women that we've trained how to make our pads. So we create for them employment in this, you know.
Yeah, in the process of making
giving out. So you're not only giving to that girl, but you're giving to the person who is producing as well. Because she'll get out of the product. Yeah, and so we also, that is how we're trying to.
Okay, so what inspired you to have this drive? Because I mean, you could be out there doing other things. There are lots of things you want to do, someone can do, but here you are, you're passionate about period poverty, hygiene and all. What inspired you to do these things? Yeah.
First and foremost, I was robbed of education a bit.
How?
I did not get the privilege to really have the fullest education that I wanted. So I feel like menstrual periods are robbing girls of this education. The days that they take without going to class because they don't have the pads should not limit a girl's education. Because, when a girl is educated, she won't go around in future burdening everyone. Because, with men, I don't know, somehow it's very easy. But with girls, if you don't have that education, like me, I really suffered getting jobs. First, the area is coming from. If you wrote an application with the word Karamoja.
Let me fix this properly.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, thank you. So, if you wrote an application, I remember then we would just write applications. Bernadette Ojao, Karamoja, Chifumbira. You take your application to an office. I tell you the truth, they will not give you that job.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Because you're from Karamoja.
So by then there was this perspective that Karamoja is for hooligans, it's for drug people, drugs, so it's for thieves. Yes, there are very many young people up to now in Karamoja who are involved in these kind of things. But I always say, if you see the problem, what's the solution? So that's why you see we try to create jobs. Like what I do with what I want to do, because I have big plans, future plans of working with young people, through training them how to do these pads and actually having them even have sewing machines, and we produce from our localities and we supply even to supermarkets, shops, schools, wherever we can. So that is one of the solutions that I would like to bring forth. But what inspired me most is to keep girls in school, to keep them in school, and to also, for myself, create a living.
Yeah, talk to me about creating a living.
I'm telling you, I suffered looking for jobs in Kampala.
Engato yaggwako sole.
I remember one time I worked for some marketing, some company. They promised me that, these adverts. Okay, I'm not trying to, but they're like, we have jobs for cashiers, office messengers, front desk officers.
And you'll have pet.
Then I ended up selling a product. We would market.
How do they call it? This the way they call it, that network marketing.
Network marketing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, network
watambula ne product mumbeera.
Natambula nagenda n'amalala gange ag'ekivuko gamanyi nina obugoye bwange mbugule Karamoja, because Karamoja, by the way, abaana b'e Karamoja bambala bulungi because there is a market space every Friday. Ekikumba tukyambalira ddala bulungi.
Network marketing teyeetaaga masimaati.
Kitegeera nagenda nago kati ngenda ngize n'obugatto bwange nabugula bulungi nnyo. I know that I am going into office. First time omanyi interview gye baatuwa.
Market
this
product.
Guy Yangamba, you see this product? It is an aloe toothpaste. It's made out of aloe vera. It's coming from a company from China. This company, once you do this,
you're gonna get money.
Nengamba ha you.
She would.
I can talk. I can market. Nengenda. Nesoka nechikola.
Achikoya baba.
Najja ndi bulungi. Naenda I work a lot and I get little money. Embeera n'enyiga omusana ne gukugwerako akagato ke nalina ate nalina akagato ke nali njagala nnyo akali kanfi. Ngenda okatulangako buli wiiki keeyongera kukendera sole kagwako. Emikwano gyange be natandika nabo ne bakifulumamu bakibuuka nga bukyali. Nze olw'okuba nali ndaba nga neetaaga okukola. Nga mpulira I can't leave this job. I need it. Maybe promote me somewhere. I think I'm calling good sales for this guy.
You're serious?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Nenga buli kyotunda ofunako nuswezi bisatu. Kati mbulire bisatu biwera ddi. Bandaire ngamba abena bakufeze.
If I die,
bakufeze kino nze nkitadde after 3 months of my time.
Wasted.
But later on in life, I learned to appreciate this. It was a training for me because now I market my products.
Bulungi.
I learned how to pitch. Gainga yogera obugambo obuli complicated. Obugambo smaya pitch ngana got pitch. But you have to pitch to someone.
This product is accentuated, concocted. It is an assortment of ingredients.
It is natural, organic, and it does your teeth. I swear, I marketed for Abu wherever you are. I know. I hope you're doing well, my dear. Thank you. It seemed like a burden then, but today I learned to appreciate the skills that I was learning in these guys.
So you suffered.
Nentoba. Kati nefuna kate omulimu omulala. Teguno nagufuna. Kololo nga bayitawo ku Carlson Medical. Ku Carlson it was a medical space where girls going to UAE would come and do checkups.
Okay.
But I was a cleaner.
Okay.
Anti mune papula. Tebiriwo. Ebimu
Pose wakoma mu which class?
Nze nakoma mu O level.
Okay, senior 4.
But I was now going to senior 5 nebigana. Nebigana, so I was like, Pena, stop forcing life. Ija kusangayo mase. Let's go. Let's move on. Stop crying. Let your other siblings get the education. Yeah, we want to let a degree work. It's well. So, what happens? Ndikulina kati. Naye mukama ono Katonda ayinza okuteekako favor before byotasaanidde. Tina ya ending up nafuuka front desk manager.
Ku Cal Medical.
Wa executive director.
Wow.
But do you know why? I would speak with people. I had good customer care. I knew how to handle clients. I was good with my work. You know?
Amazing.
Nentuuka nga people now customers nga banjagala nnyo era nga nfunafunayo ko obusente awo nti could you please prepare for me my documents ogenda okulaba nga akuwadde $100. By then bali bannakenya nga they deal with dollars.
Okay.
nengamba banaye life ngeekyuse nengamba the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my mother's life ngenda bajja muno mwe bali mu Karamoja and take them maybe to another better place
relative
maybe mbatwaleko eri nga Kyebando Central, and I did it.
No Ojao.
Yes, Ojao, they left. So I didn't want to settle for less because I had gotten a lot of pain growing up as a girl, suffering. Being a firstborn is not easy.
It's hard.
You become an automatic deputy parent.
Yeah.
You know? And then one time I sat in my place. Ngorokati mfunye ne boyfriend. Hey boyfriend gali focused nyo nangamba. Kati nange nengamba tofaye tugenda kola. Ngenda kola because I had in me a working thing that I need to work such that I could change life back home. So what I did, one time I'm seated in home, I'm like speaking to God, I'm like, God, Omanyi, one thing I've realized is God really answers the desires of the heart.
Once you pray.
Prayers that you don't even say, but he has heard. Bandi yao yogeza ngamba my friend Nakabira Yvonne, she's in Canada. Yvonne Mugamba, Yvonne, Kanima, I want a sewing machine. She's like, what? You want a sewing machine? There's a sewing machine that KSL is using as our weight lifter.
What is KSL?
KSL is a friend, Mamita Chisalo Joel.
Wait, guy.
Muyimbi.
Idaho. Wait. Sewing machine yakubise ekyuma.
Yali yakubise ekyuma kati eri awo agamba wayi kanjira njisitula mu kolombi. KSL bamugamba, man, let's give it to B. Tujimuwe. Abampe ekyalani nga kirungi. Nsanyuka nengamba bane Katonda ngonjagala. Kiwedde kati ngenze kugaggawala. I remember whoever came in as to call garments guys supply.
Your mind is about fashion.
My mind was, of course, when you have that machine, the first thing that comes to your mind is clothes.
Yeah.
Kati kumbe that was not it. Ngantunula ekyalani nengamba kati kino ekyalani ngenda kiyiga nti simanyi kutunga. Simanyi I don't know how to look for I need money to go to a fashion school. But when am I going to get the money? So my man tells me, no, your friend is going to come back saying you've done nothing.
Your machine
2 years
without doing anything.
To get the first year I had a baby, so I'm playing around. Why I chimpandi pregnant, so during that time, of course, I'm trying to study what I'm going to do. Nengamba kati ono kankole ntya kansoke nkiwumuze naye nera nesigala nga nkyanoonya emirimu
Chukango ina machine. Sort of capital. So, actually, you had capital in the house. I had
capital, but I didn't even see it.
Wow.
I felt like I needed money to go to school such that I can now start using this machine. You know? So what happens is that
it's the era of YouTube.
I'm telling you, that is what saved me. Do you know what? So one time I'm seated, I'm like, so these words kept on pondering. I was like, hey, Jeff told me if Yvonne comes back, she's going to find when I've done nothing. Then nenzijukira bali abasajja bawa talents mo.
By the, sorry to cut you short. For me, I want to think that sometimes we don't have all the eyes to see our potentials, but it requires someone outside to see what you're capable of. I speak that because before I enrolled for my MA program, a friend of mine called Alex Tarema, for him I'd already enrolled. So I just left my first job and I'd gotten my second job. I was on a run, and I'm focused on doing this job. And Alex told me, he came to office where I'd worked before at UCU, and he's like, I talked about the program and told some other friend of mine to apply. For me, I was like, maybe CV and it's not yet my time. But Alex, you have to know what Nangamba, you apply. Nangamba, apply, you will get it. Kagama already those alabi to chanda.
Yes.
But it took me 3 weeks to make that decision.
Imagine that
time. And trust me, when I applied, I got it.
You have to believe in yourself.
Yeah, but also I think the people around you also sometimes matter.
They push you. They push
so
you.
you're talking about...
So for me, someone pushed me. Actually, those words, at first I felt offended. I was like, why doesn't this guy just give me money? I can't study fashion. Doesn't he sit said? But so one day in the waka, I was carrying my son Rafa Mugunga. I think I even took that photo. It's on Instagram. Then tula once in Ngamaned. It's doing nothing. Let me make use of it. So I decided, and I was like, what do I do? And tula kucharan. And so can't threading. I want now to tell steady. That into kutunga ndaba techitambula. Nengamba ate kati no kiriko ebizibu nentextinga mukwano gwange WhatsApp yaliwa Canada ne mugamba naka nga the machine is not moving. Nengamba you do something, you try to move it. Ne mugamba I've tried everything. Nenga ku machine waliwo ka button koyina okutambuzaamu bwoti kave mweno gundi ekubba ekituli emu katambula otambula. So nengamba kangendeko nfune Taylor and singer. I first went, I started sitting, investigating what other tailors do. Nenge byala nsibi ebimu.
They're different.
Yange butterfly ezawe zali singers bichi ebimu nga sibi ebimu. So I was like nedda bino ebintu bino okubanga nino bibuuzako ne YouTube.
Okay.
Bibuuzako Google. Buuza Google, why is the so I first described the machine. Then I just prayed. I was like, but Holy Spirit, you said that if we don't have wisdom, we should ask for it, Lord. Give me wisdom. Omanyi okubanga nakamala essala nendaba akantu nga kali awo nengamba naye ate kano kakola nenkakyusa ngenda okukakyusa nenenye ekyala nkyatambula. I scrap. That's why I always tell people, me, it's the Holy Spirit who taught me how to thread that things besides Google and everything. So I now started getting the desire of using this machine. I would sit on it. Buli kimu n'engoye ezitaliiko bitulinze nga nzinoonya nezitunga at least nezikyusa. So one time we're going for my kid's baptism, nenkwata material nentunga mu skirt with my friend Baraza. Yange, it was my outfit. From scratch. I didn't go to school of fashion. Something that I would just look, imagine, no drawing a home paper, no manyanti. Measurements nga sibitegera bulungi nentambulira nga let's go.
Okay.
So I learned how to use. I loved my machine. I started connecting with it. But then I needed to do something. Something
that could, help you make money.
And that is where my pad thing began. Now, before the pad, twali mukama ocheyo nga tulina abavuka betubeera nabo bangi nga baticha mavo nga balina ideas already babatadde ma TVs. Kale me I didn't really nga sibyegomanya ebya TV naye nga negomba okulaba gaya atandise okufuna funders afuna ku sente bamutadde mu sente nga naye ngamba bannange nange mukama show me my purpose. What's my purpose? I would like to know what you want me to do, Lord, cause nga ndaba bakola with people. It wasn't just them.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was things to do with people. And with the problems.
Like things that
affect
people.
Okay. That is how I'm going to serve God. How will I even tell people about the love of Christ without even showing them that there are things that, poverty, they say,
yeah.
They think God doesn't exist. But He's there. And God wishes everyone that.
Poverty can make you do two things.
It can
make you creative or depressed. And when you get depressed, you blame God. So
yes, and so most people are in depression. They don't know He has given them the ability to create. So for me, one time I'm seated. Luckily, I have a neighbor at home. Days for Girls. So
Days for Girls is an organization?
It's an organization that produces reusable pads, I think, kids for schools. Namugamba Susan, njagala kutungayo ku pad ezange zokoza with my machine. Nangamba okay. So Omanyi, it's good to, when you say something, do it. Don't procrastinate.
Yeah.
When you procrastinate, you'll never do it. nentuula nenyingira mu nyumba. I had an always pad disposable nenkwata material nekubaka already ne sketchinga nengenda kugo nembuza how do I sew reusable pads neyandaga step by steps nezigoberera nenkola so nekati I needed someone who was an expert. Susan Yang already I need charani che already atunga she had already started sewing with them nengamba nze nange kangendeke wasu and I gave just a bit of what I want because I did what I wanted nenga ate pad ya kufuula nenga waliwo technology mungi
of turning the pad
of turning it over. I was like, no, let me ask Susan. So she told me, look at Olaba, you do like this, then no fool. I was like, chiwede. My first pad when amalo jitunga, I posted it on social media.
When you made your first pad, you posted it on social media.
You see, I had already perfected my sewing.
So how did you get to think of making a pad?
Now, because there was this problem with me already of getting tired of using disposable pads, zinjocha.
So the pads?
Yes.
They used to like burn?
Yes. Like if you're wearing it and it's full, you get blistered. It would bruise. There's that chemical, and I've recently noticed that chemical is also in diapers.
Okay.
Because my babies, diaper rash. No, I root them just for a few minutes. I know with house helps, sometimes when you leave them, they get maybe overwhelmed with work. They forget to check on the kids and the diapers. So, engamba binene ebya period poverty. Mbila kangenda bimala nentunga pad na nungi. My neighbors like, oh my god, I'm also going to make this pad.
So your neighbor actually felt like you.
If this one who is working with a big company
that makes pads
now likes this one. Now, when I shared it on social media, I remember a friend of mine called Jemita Samara. She's in Canada, British Columbia. She was so excited. By then, Yalia Zemu, Uganda, under some organization called T-Org. It's run by Naxon Miram, the Miram brothers, Bali, Switzerland. Naji posting a page liking from very many people. Number wow, Kati, there is one lady in particular. She's in UK.
Yeah.
She's called Paige Bloomfield. Paige naja mu inbox yange. Nagamba, I like the work you're doing. Could you please make these pads for some girls that you like? Konze wanji. Nangamba, I'm going to fundraise off my Reika classes. I think she was doing health well-being classes. So she would fundraise £1 off each customer. Mpaka weyaweza like £99 nazimpereza.
Oh, she raised £99.
Yes, okay? She raised those pounds and then she sent me that money. I went downtown. Anymore, I was looking for a specific kind of material which we use, flannel cotton, because nanonyereza nyo which one is the most comfortable, the most easily available, which kind of in the market. Yes. And also friendly when prices, when you're buying. Nengena nengula ebintu byange, nengula cotton towelings, nengula PUL, nengula oyogundi, nefunawo nebange nanguza nampa impact yanguza yampa buwi snap buttons because she had enough.
These buttons, eh?
Yes, she also had a machine. Bambi, she is really good people. Yanjagaliza. Nintandika okukola pads ezo nenkola zaali pads. I think there were 50.
So your first batch you made was 50, okay?
Yes, there were more than that because I remained with some material which I went and taught people in Karamoja. Okay. It's funny, but God really He always has His will. So I got the pads and now I got invited for an event because Nari is with the Chengendo Kola, so I had to associate with people who do what I do.
Yeah. So
I started looking for organizations that are into periods.
Period, yeah.
When I go to my period is awesome. It's in Sweden. Facebook oko. Then I inboxed the lady. She's called Therese. She was so good to me. She's like, hey, we're opening up a period station in Chisenyi, Mengo. Okay. This station will have access to water for women, especially the slum or street girls.
Okay.
Kubanga Chisenyi ina street women banji. Nangamanti, it's going to help us to, for girls to feel clean, to have in periods, that's all okubeera clean. So amanyi waliwo wayinza okugenda freely neenazaako soap wali amazzi wegali ne pads bajateekawo. Then I was like, this is my privilege to give pads to this station. Since it's their first day, let me go and give them this pads page zeyaguze nenzitwalayo 50 of them nenzitwalayo mu kisenyi. Kati ndaba wentuuka. I went with a team of my friends. Bano Mugete, I went with my brother Robert. I went with Mugisha Richard. I went with Mackenzie. Skonto. Nengenda n'abaana abo. Because I wanted boys to be involved in period poverty. Or in period menstrual hygiene. Or in period matters.
Why was that very important for you?
Just to remove the gender inequality.
This thing of it's only women that have to.
Nganjaga boys to learn that they have a say in these issues, because tomorrow they'll become fathers. What if a mother is not home? Omwana abone mama mala kudda nga tunamuyiza mu waliwo ne pad oba waliwo no managing these periods.
It's a very interesting insight.
Yes. So that is what I did. I took these guys. I was like, okay, let's go. They came along to Genda. Hey, it was a wonderful event. Then they asked me if I can train women.
Yeah. How did you feel?
Nengamba, wow. Yes, I'm going to do it. I remember Shaka Lwanyaga is the founder of the Wellbeing Foundation. Under my period is awesome. Na yali yangamba that you're going to come with material bichi. So I was like, okay, waliwo training. Nature saasubira nti waliwo zi cameras nga mmeka. I'm a very camera shy person. I usually avoid cameras because I'm shy with them. So when natuukayo, these guys are like, you're going to train these women. I was like, it's kawa. Then ntandika my very first menstrual pad training ku Wellbeing Foundation. Kati nze, because I know the power of social media.
You posted.
I took photos. I posted. On posting, someone saw me. She's called Dorothy Aori. She's the founder of Jazz of Clay. It's an organization that is helping women get period equity in Tororo.
Okay.
Nampita.
She called you.
She called me, Bena, I'd like you to train for me some school-going girls. They are
in Tororo.
In Tororo, in Katarema. I think that's the school. Come to my office in Kanjo Chat, we'll get the possibilities. Nengendayo. Mukazi nampaka kadde kamu n'emitwalo 2 n'entya. She trusted me to buy materials, and then she would give me the training.
Was that the first big pay that you ever got?
Money I got nga ndabira ddala nti chai
okankana
bino ebintu birimu ne ssente.
Wali okuddeko ssente ezikankanya.
Ezo zankankanya, I'm telling you the truth. Ng'obudde kuzaabala naye nga ku luno zange eziriiko. Wadde kale zaali the material, but I was trusted with the what? With the money. And of course I was charging a fee for training. Era nazo yazimpa. And we delivered a good training. We got to know that girls are sleeping with older boys, like boda men, apparently. Bebasinga ndoza okwana abana bana abato.
Okay.
Some, not all of them. I won't generalize. Nga wali omuwala nga omusajja boda amukwana nga namukozesa namuwayo ku sente nga kwagula pads.
Wow, so the girls could not afford the pads, so they go sleep with boda guys to afford pads. Yes, because the parents cannot use.
Of course, parents can't afford. They can't afford, and maybe they don't even disclose to their parents that I've started my periods. That's why it's very important for schools to have menstrual hygiene sessions. Menstrual management, actually, menstrual health, not even
schools
hygiene.
should like find ways of keeping tabs of these girls.
Yes.
Because menstrual cycles are actually different, and different people start these menstrual cycles at different stages. Yes. So I think you have a valid point. There are several stakeholders that need to come in, and I don't know whether schools do this.
Some schools do, some don't. Like a school that I've just been handling, the students that I was talking to from a school in Kasana, staying, told me they don't have these lessons at school. Menstrual health matter lessons.
They don't have senior teachers. We used to have senior teachers,
women, but they are not playing that role.
What do they teach them?
Sometimes omanyi waliwo senior woman okubeerawo nga just ajjanjaba bulwadde nti olwadde jangu ku panado nti okoze eki, but there are some people who are professionals in handling these issues. Like us,
who should be involved?
Yes.
Oh,
like
yeah.
us, we work with professional people who are good in this area of menstrual health management.
Which actually makes sense because because if schools get people, you get in touch with people like you.
Yes.
They could have a monthly schedule where you could just go and sensitize these kids and let them know what it is.
Yes. We otherwise would not be having girls who have gotten pregnant over time. Right now, when Walabi misses the school because they got pregnant.
And it's also because, while conversations about parents, African parents don't want to have with kids.
To have sexual
related
conversations, and yet they're very important. Girls today are contracting HIV/AIDS because they don't know that when you sleep with a man without a
protection,
condom, you're going to contract sexually transmitted diseases. Girls don't know that there is a menstrual cycle that you can follow. If you miss some days, you'll get pregnant. Because girls don't know that actually they have to wait to have sex. Why? Some parents are busy with troubles of life,
making money, leaving the children under the care of nannies and all that.
So they don't have these talks with their kids.
It's weird.
So toyinza kunenya na mwana ngati gwe omuzadde tomaze kwetunula.
Kola mulimu gwo.
Let us not be parents who are so busy to talk about these issues. My kids like asking me, like when I was pregnant, Mommy, when I came back home with my baby, she's like, Mommy, where did you get the baby from? From the doctor? I was like, yes. Where did the baby pass? Kati, that question. Oh no, man, for sure. Namuri because I won't understand this. Mugamba, the baby passed through the mouth, but when you grow up, I'll let you know where the baby is passed. So it keeps on, and it was like that baby. So it's like, gel passed through the mouth. So big. You vomited it? I'm like, yes. Nangens, you can do banga. Your mother's going to vomit.
Oh my God.
I was going to vomit. Okay, so I'll take it that way.
Okay.
But I think it's also good to, yes, of course, sometimes we tell them that because, kids, but I think it's also good to be very open with them, because these are natural things besides babiga kumasomero. But when it comes to matters of menstrual health management, there are issues that have to be discussed. Recently, it is beyond menstrual health management, is beyond just menstrual health hygiene. It takes things like, it's beyond reusable sanitary pads, it's beyond sanitary pads or tampons or whatever. It's back to the sensitization. Do girls know about menstrual health? Do schools have clean facilities where girls can actually change? Is there a provision of water and soap in school? Because whatever, most girls in schools, especially schools that don't have water, will enter a class, nakyusako paadi wejjula nagenda alijjamu nakyusa naabako because facilities ezo
or even the environment sometimes when you over the water could be there, but the environment does not give her the ability to do that.
Yes.
Because the facilities are not there. There's water, but other facilities. Yeah. Like maybe privacy.
Privacy.
Mostly.
Things like privacy are very important when it comes to health, to MHM. So, I feel very much that the government should put in a budget for these things, because I feel like menstrual products, especially for government schools, when most of the students come from very, very poor backgrounds.
Let me ask you while you're here. So, you talked about government getting involved. I'm curious to know. I think I saw one of your pictures in Parliament, and you said a statement. You say that there's a phrase I hated and still hate. We shall not wait for Karamoja to develop.
Yes.
Growing up in the city and hearing the word Karamoja would freak me out.
Yes.
First, the very many words that were said against the Karamojong, how we are hostile, backward, and beggars on Kampala streets, all all that almost made me bury my identity in the urge to protect my sanity from non-Karamojongs. Then I began to learn things, ideas that I knew would be solutions to my Karamojong. And now, more than ever, I am determined to show those who say that Karamoja will never develop, that I can make a difference.
Yes.
It may be a whole city with marvelous buildings, but it will be a community of intellectual people. It does not matter how many people or places I'll go to, but I will let my light shine to bring. I will let my light shine so bright. Kampala is not my home, Karamoja is.
Yes.
So, you've spoken about government getting involved in this whole thing. So I'm wondering, first speak on this.
Yes.
And then also tell me if you've taken steps
Yes.
to involve the government in these steps.
Yes.
Why is why was this post very important for you to make at this point? It sounds like very emotional.
So at that post, first and foremost, I grew up, like I said, I were actually born in Kampala, raised in Kampala. We got the privilege to go back home to learn our language. Maybe me, because at one point my all P1, P2, P3, up to P4, I was in Karamoja. First to learn how to speak my language, and also to learn how to do things like digging, those things. So my dad really felt like I needed to connect with my roots. But now coming back to Karamoja, to Kampala, there was that phrase, Karamoja will never develop. Oh,
This stigma.
that thing caused me a lot of stigma actually in school, that you would even fear to say you're a Karamojong, because the very many words that you would the moment you say I'm a Karamojong, someone, we shall not wait for Karamoja to develop. Oh, that phrase would freak me out.
Yeah.
For so long, I would keep quiet. I would not tell people who I was, where I was coming from. I'd keep quiet. I would avoid such conversations because I didn't want to hear that word again. Then I started to learn things like how to sew, how to make different things like liquid soap, how to make a lot of things like bakery and all that, things that would actually help one develop. So that day I ended up in the parliament when I posted that I'd gone to the Ministry of Gender and Social Development, Labor and Social Development. I'd gone to meet the commissioner.
Okay.
But I missed to meet her. Then a colleague that I was told me works as a parliament. It's like, let's go, you meet Honorable. The one I work with, I was like, good, I'm going to do my marketing in the big house. I want to first of all get women member of parliament, because they're the ones who are working. They should be having women groups, and they should be having budgets
for this whole thing.
These groups. And I need my idea to come out such that they can actually we can teach the women how to make these pads such that it can become innovative business for them, such that they can get a living out of them. If it could get for me that kind of living, what more them,
Yeah.
Then going back to my Karamoja, the current Minister for Disaster Preparedness, Honorable Esther Nyakuni, is a Karamoja, and she's the member of parliament in Nakapiripiri district, and that is the district I come from. So I was taking boundaries.
Okay.
Me, I'm a Christian, so I take things both in spirit and in physical. So I was going there. I went there. If I wanted, of course, I didn't meet the other lady, but just my being there was enough to show me. Because
so sometimes showing up is what matters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was enough to show me that I'm actually up to something, and I must, with my capability, I must push forth for the development of Karamoja in one way or another. Or it means creating jobs for my Karamojong brothers and sisters, because most of the people that I've interacted with will tell you that in Karamoja, if you want to do a successful workshop, don't do it beyond midday, because by then everyone is drunk.
Is that true?
Yes. If you've gone for community things, abantu bakeera kumacha okunywa omwenge.
Kati seminar inajikola kumacha nyonyo.
Inajikola kumacha, or you have to really first change these people's mindsets.
Wow.
So for me, if I sit down like with such member of parliament, I need to tell them actually how to solve the problem. Because olaba Karamoja chijisibya mu ngeri gyeri. The last time I was discussing with a friend of mine called Mavo. Nangamba bakaramoja obalabe kibatawanya food.
Tewali mmere.
Nangamba ne mubuza lwaki olaba emmere gye balya bayinza okuba bali emmere emu, they don't eat foods that boost their
Thinking
brain,
capacity.
their thinking nemugamba oli mutuufu. Nangamba if there was food security in Karamoja, there would be no poverty because abantu bandibadde bagamba tukole. But how to get that, you have to first change the climate. Karamoja is a semi-arid.
So food is scarce.
Abantu basala emiti batunda amanda, some people. Naye nga ate osobola batwalira innovative ideas ng'ezimu kuzendina mu pipeline, like, you know, the energy saving stoves. You teach communities how to manage those and they plant more trees than having to cut them out.
So you also have a project on energy saving stoves?
We have a lot of projects that we have put down. So we are hoping there are some partners that we want to get on board who will help us. Chobola abantu olunaku olwentekayo ekintu ekyo nga nina nze kyenjagala. Nina kyenjagala. But like to just, it's more like a prophecy because I have ideas like the reusable pads project. We want it in Karamoja where we actually have a real station or production space. It's the Karamojongs, my people
that work there.
Yes.
Okay.
Such that we can change their livelihoods. The energy stoves, the permaculture, also okukuliza ekintu mu nnyumba yo. Ekikuliramu n'olya vegetables. Ebintu bingi bye basuula. Basobola n'okubumba some stones, no planting.
Yeah.
You don't need to wait for the season. Like right now, yesterday I was speaking to my cousins and they're telling me they're preparing the gardens for the rains.
They're waiting
for rains.
rain.
Don't come. Enjalanga ebatta.
But
Right now, Karamojongs are fighting for cattle because it's one thing that they've learned that cows.
cattle is the only source of wealth.
There is something beyond cows and wealth, and you know, there is skills that they can learn that can help them generate income.
You're right. I think it's more like knowledge empowerment.
Yes, they need to be empowered.
Knowledge.
But before you even empower these people, you need to sensitize them to actually make them see the brighter future. Accept it.
Yes.
And believe me, I know that out of 100, at least 40% can embrace it, which is enough.
Definitely.
It's enough to start with that. Maybe we balaba gamba why obulamu bwa gundi yakyuka mva yatandika okukola bino. So I feel like there is a lot that needs to be really tapped into. So for me, I am for the development of Karamoja. Whatever, I'm going to use whatever resources I can. Newe kiba kitegeeza nti nze kufuna byalani byange n'ebitwala Karamoja nenfunira abantu emirimu. I will do that.
So you're the women we should celebrate.
You celebrate us because we have
actually
for
this conversation is very timely, considering tomorrow.
Tomorrow is Women's Day.
It's Women's Day.
Yes.
That's quite. I didn't actually know that you also have other projects in the pipeline, like permaculture. Actually, like the idea of permaculture would be more. How should I say? Would be more eminent in such a society where there's little food or no food. But then I don't know how you intend to do that. That's a story for another day.
That's a story for another day, and that's why we're.
But how do you intend to do that?
We, of course, we have to look for stakeholders like government. You know, fundraise from friends, fundraise from wherever. Because I mean, they have the money, but maybe they don't have the people who can actually utilize it. For us, we have the ideas. Like I have people, the ghetto youths that I've grown up with. We can, collaborate and we go and do these things in Karamoja.
Definitely.
We have things like recycled material management. Imagine in Karamoja we have houses that we built out of bottles.
Plastics, I've seen those houses,
So those things. Yeah.
So we were talking about you making the first pad, and then how do you come up with pads for her? By the way, Bernadette she's the CEO.
Yeah, I'm the team lead. I'm founder.
Pads for her. Pads for her is a social enterprise that makes reusable pads.
Yes.
For underprivileged people.
Yes.
Yes. So talk to us how did you get to come up with pads for her?
Well, how I came up with pads for her is because I wanted to have people. Because I was making the pads, there were baby pads. So,
like, from the other stage, you say that you got to make the pad as a result of irritation.
Yes.
So, after that, how does this come in? Pads for her?
How pads for her comes in is after the first project, that was funded by Page, and she needed me to give out pads. I was like, oh, these are actually pads for her. Pads for a girl, pads for a woman. I'm like, okay. So what Pads for How will do is it will look for, it will raise funds from goodwill wishers who can spare the 20,000 instead of taking it to the bar. Those are 4 beers in Kampala. You just say, okay, for these 4 beers, I'll keep a woman clean for whole 2 years for just 20,000. You know, you just live your luxury and you you fit into someone's shoes and you give them. For us, you'll be supporting us first of all by helping the women who produce our pads to get decent work.
Wow.
You know. Yeah, today our girls are running off to Arab countries. It's not bad to look for greener pastures, but it's also good to develop your home, you know? Like one of the ladies I work with, she's called Rose. She was telling me the other day, when I was in Saudi Arabia, I felt so confined and things were not really so easy because I wasn't happy with where I was working and what I was doing. But now I was like, yeah, you have your sewing machine, you can do your work. So we kept on talking on how, because before, when COVID had just happened, Rose is one of the women who helped me in producing the reusable face masks. I didn't tell you that an idea can be a big deal. When I began this whole sewing thing, that simple machine of mine just kept on doing things that would become big projects. I remember sewing a mask, then I shared it on a group on Facebook, and someone ordered for 1,500 masks pieces.
Yeah, but there's
first COVID.
There's also this order this one. You made 720 masks.
Yeah, for the Korean embassy.
Was that still during COVID?
This is the second COVID.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they were giving them out to the municipality, the fishermen, the town.
So the other consignment gave birth to this other one?
Yes, the other one I gave to Gende, the border. They were giving it to their border men. I made 1,500 masks. I did this work. Now, this was funny. We are under a total lockdown. The only people allowed to move are border borders. And accessing material was hard. Shops were closed. The kids were closed. Everyone was in a panic. But thank God. You see, it's always good to keep contacts. I'd kept contacts of some refugee tailors around Cooper Complex, the Burundian refugees who came from that war that happened in that short time. And I had contacts, so I called them. I'm like, I have work. Niko na kazi. Muko? They're like, we are here, but we are at our home.
You're working at home?
Yes. I was like, Kawa, I'm bringing work. I'll send my border. We cut the pads, the masks rather, and we gave them work. I think I gave them about 1,000 masks to sew. There were about 6 of them. And they delivered the work. Then I also gave the tailors around my area because I was alone. I could not do everything alone, but I needed to create employment. And I did, and the women worked, and we delivered the masks to Gende. First lockdown, and each mask was 3,500.
That was a lot.
Yes, you know. I was so happy. During that time, my family didn't lack. I was scared because I'm the one who cares for my family, my mother and my siblings. I'm the one who takes care of home. Like I told you, the life that I grew up from, and I had to take responsibilities into my hands. So those guys didn't lack anything. And other people, because I remember you can't be having something and you withhold it from people. I would send money to random people as long as I know your number and I know you have a problem, you have situations like this. I'll just put money, like, get surprised. Hey, but I'm like, just don't cry. God is good.
Keep change.
You know, just enjoy it well.
Wow.
That's how actually the Innovation Village was able to see. Because a friend contacted me, like, hey, there is this funding from MasterCard. They're trying to help people who are suffering COVID. I was like, I'm one of them. Then I put in my proposal. They liked it. Now my proposal was for the reusable pad. After knowing, because before COVID, I had now started working, using the pads to be my business, because I would now go train people in slums, through organizations, through, schools. But now everything was closed. I had to start from zero.
Yeah.
Then these guys came through the MasterCard Foundation and, through the Innovation Village, they funded me. I skilled women in refugee settlements, in slums. I also empowered some women who I work with, 6 of them, including myself. And,
So far, how many women have you skilled in
total? If I know, what I can say, ever since I started in 2019, I have so far skilled over 1,000 women.
Wow.
Over 1,000 women and more, because sometimes we never used to really.
You don't keep the number, yeah?
Yes. And we've distributed pads. We've been sewing slowly, but so far we have done about, I think, 50,000 pads. Organizations come and order in our small scale. Hey, could you please make for us? We have here, then you make. We have here, then you make. Then we also give.
So the other question I want to ask, first take a sip. Let me see if this way is still recording.
It had better.
Still, it's now.
Humanga, we shall not say all these things in vain. I can laugh.
At the time, the video was recording. I had not pressed record here.
Are you for real? So nothing could be heard.
I felt so bad.
I know. I think I think you have to go back.
So I was going to ask you. What was I going to ask you? Question has gone. You were still telling me about. Okay, I was. The machines. How did you get all these machines? Because I imagine you'd need some really serious machines to do this job.
Yes, I do. Now, I remember I told you I started with one machine.
It was given to you.
Yes, which was given to me. And because my ideas were really good, I wrote in my proposal to the Innovation Village. They liked them. So they told me to write a budget. There is a recovery fund that they're giving to people, to entrepreneurs who have been affected by COVID. I was one of them. Plus, I had to create some work for some people out there. So I wrote down, then they gave me some funding. Of that funding, I had to skill women anywhere, but especially in vulnerable places. So I chose slums, urban slums. I chose the refugee settlements. I went, taught women how to do this for innovative business. The balance, I bought machines.
Oh, so far you have how many machines?
I have so far, let me see, I think I have now 7.
7 machines.
7, but they're not even enough because my dream is so big. I want a real big warehouse where people actually are 100 women sewing pads.
Okay, it's amazing.
Yeah, because I want to supply the whole of Africa.
Wow. Do you have any partnerships that you're trying to strike up with some people outside Uganda?
Yes, we're trying to look for partnerships, which we are still actually underway. It's, of course, you can have a dream, but you have to first see it stable. So we have partners, like my very first partners, the Lily, Peace Lily, that lady, Paige, who helped us. She's our first partner. Then we have the My Period is Awesome, though we've not yet really put the documents down properly. Then we are working on a partnership with the International University of East Africa. Yeah, we want to see how we can. That one will be towards the development of Karamoja. Yes.
Wow.
And then the Innovation Village. And yes, also there is a partnership that we have right now with the Young Water Fellowship. It's a fellowship that I'm in. It's under the water sanitation and hygiene entrepreneurs of Uganda. Waseu.
Okay. So I've been meaning to ask you something. There's, sometimes I look through your page and there's a story of a girl called Sarah Ninsima. She's 21. The post reads Sarah Ninsima is 21, but as you can see, she is in bad state. 17 years ago, she was diagnosed with cerebral malaria that grossly affected her. Apparently, like any other woman or girl of her age, she receives her monthly periods. Or her mother tells me that they are heavy. The unfortunate part is that she can't afford the pads and the pampers. Instead, she buys newspapers at 1,000 just 4 pages. I now kindly beg you. Okay, it was a call for help. So I'm just wondering, and you share the post on your page.
Yes.
I'm wondering, do you have any strategies to stretch your initiative towards people that are physically impaired, like Nimsima?
Yes.
Because I would imagine these are people that are mostly missed in this conversation.
Yes, they are persons with disabilities.
Do you know this girl?
I have not met her personally, but I do know Jocelyn. I met with her at the Milele School of Community recently when they had a graduation. And we happened to talk about these issues, but maybe it was timely because the next time I see she's posting about Sarah, and I was so touched because, like Sarah, there are very many girls out there who are physically, unable to take care of themselves, and they also menstruate. So you find that their parents, if they're not rich, really have issues of how to take care of them. So we have a program. We are actually working on some product of ours that will be able to help persons with disabilities.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it like pads?
Yes, it's like a pad, but it's different. It's more like a panty. So it is able to help such that she doesn't have to, remove all the time, remove the panty. You just open once.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still under construction. And also, that is why I was telling you that we usually call for fundraisings from people to help us be able to take care of such girls, to be able to get for them pads. Because we make the pads. But if we get well-wishers, people who don't really have a big problem to support, people with big hearts who can come out and you say, me, I don't mind using my 50,000. Please give out. We have a lot of people who come to our space, who come to my inbox asking for some pads. But sometimes we are unable to give to everyone because we give what we've been funded. That is what we do. Plus, we account because we want to work smartly and know where people's money is going.
Yeah.
So we follow up properly. We know that you've given us this much. This is how much we produced. This is how much we've given out. And, because it is pads for her if people are not getting the products. The product is called Wabibi Pad. And very soon we also have the PP, reusable diapers that are coming.
Okay.
This is for girls, for kids, for children. And this is after a story I saw at the refugee settlement in Nachi Valley.
What's the story?
When I was there, I was training women how to make our pads. So mothers came with their kids. And one mother in particular caught my attention. You know this tumbling, the material?
Tumbling?
Like the PVC, that material that is used for making tents. Those refugee tents.
Yeah.
I was
that
so
hard
touched.
material?
Yes. The mother had cut it and she had put inside a cloth and then she had put it on top of the child as a nappy.
Wow, the heat.
The heat.
The
bird in Bambi, I think she doesn't like it as a mother, but she has no alternative. So I was like, hey, Bena, you should do something. You should do something. And I believe the UNHCR has bigger ways of fundraising. So if we took such to them, then they can be able to help these people,
wow,
these
refugees.
Amazing. Yeah, but there are very many children actually less taken care of.
Yeah,
all
but if you
issues,
think about it,
we are caring about health of malaria and all that, but they're also going to these things of I burn myself when you give me these. So I feel like everyone needs to be included. Recently, there is also someone who came to my workshop and she raised the need for what she wants us to do for her. I won't disclose it because, when you're doing something, someone might hear and then they steal the idea. I'm not saying that it's not bad to share,
intellectual property,
but it's better you come with discuss together than stealing.
Come to the table.
There is an IP of everything. Yeah, so we are working on diapers
Something
as
you
well,
don't want to say.
reusable.
Diapers.
Yes, and we are so eco
Friendly.
forward, you know. We are so eco friendly. We want to advocate because climate change has become a real serious issue today.
Definitely.
People are suffering droughts. People are suffering water. Here now, that layer of the snow is about to peel off. I was reading recent as like what will happen? Coldness is now coming here.
I wonder.
We're going to now start snowing.
My
And
road.
yet, it feels cold. Yeah, you see the whole social media breaking off. Oh, it's cold. It's cold. This kind of cold that makes you do what? I won't bathe today. You know? What
Cuddling.
will happen if we don't save our climate?
You're gonna die in bed. Cuddling.
So, like I said, we really rely on fundraisers and goodwill, people who can help us and give out to really, like, there's a thing that is running at Cafe Java's about
Yeah, I was about to
nomination.
ask you that. Like,
Yeah.
you've been nominated.
People have been nominating me.
Okay,
People
the
have been
initiative is about
nominating.
Cafe Java's wrote on its page that
Yes.
the International Women's Day is a global day marked annually on March 8th, celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. Let's celebrate the women making extraordinary contributions to our society in Uganda with the International Women's Day. Nominate them here in the comment section and tell us why they are your hero of chance for Cafe Javas to honor them, honor and acknowledge them. Acknowledge one of them for their efforts with 5 million.
Yes.
What would you want to, if you won?
If
What
I
would you
want
use the
that
5
money,
million for?
trust me, you see that 5 million? Like I said, we'll have this toilet paper is not a pad campaign coming. I would just get that money and use it, all of it, to make pads, because we have a budget of about 12 million that we're looking at getting 600 packs of pads. So these guys would have helped me cover almost half of it, you know. So
I wish Cafe Javas could hear
I
this.
wish they could hear this, you know, Cafe Javas. I wish it could hear this. We would really give those pads out because we have very many women. But first and foremost, we'd like to deal with the schooling-going girls. They've been greatly affected by the lockdown of schools to make periods a thing for them to not actually appear at school. So we know that they're there. We know people like Ninsima.
Yeah,
They need our help.
Definitely.
The persons with disabilities need our help. We can give them pads. We can give, because for us, our giving is to the most vulnerable. They're the ones who will appreciate this product.
Wow.
Someone in Kololo will be like, I use tampons,
So like,
menstrual
when I had
cups.
remember the first conversation we had?
Yes.
You said that most urban people are not really passionate about
reusable
pads
because they don't want to touch the
wash
blood, they don't want to wash. But someone in the village, you've saved them. They understand. Even here, people, by the way, they're starting to embrace, because like I said, people just need to be told the advantages of using reusable products.
Yeah, because this is a natural product that you almost understand the contents of the product, because I mean, you feel the cloth.
Yes.
You're not sure. It's not like the reusable pad where you feel something
the
and you
disposable one.
you can't explain exactly what is
inside.
So I think it's also important for the health, the reproductive system of women.
So much.
I've always had reservations about those pads and also the kids stuff.
My dear, like we're
I
talking
feel like
right now.
there is something inside there that
I've realized there's a chemical in some diaper that irritates my daughter. And this diaper is brought from out. I don't know if it's checked.
That's the thing.
I don't know if it's what, but it's imported. Just the other day, my kid was bruised terribly. And now she's itching. It's been almost a week. I'm trying to just apply something to help her.
So I think it's just inevitable that...
Me, I advocate for reusable products. That's why even if it's a shopping bag, I'd rather carry my own bag. I'd rather sew myself a shopping bag. Because I know the long-term effect of plastics. Takes more than 500 years to decompose. And it keeps on covering on the layer. So you think there is another top layer, but down under, there is something that is really damaging the earth.
Okay. You've been a part of several projects. Looking at your page, I mean, Young Water Solution.
Yes, they are apparently my mentorship. They're the ones mentoring me at the moment.
Yeah.
Young Water Solution.
Actually, you say that these are, because your products are unique. So you told me some time back that you've been through mentorship to add value to your product.
Yes.
And that's when you came up with the other product of 13,000.
Yes.
What's that? I forget that product.
That product is
The whole pack?
Now, yes, the whole pack is 15,000.
Okay.
Because it has 4 pads. It has 2 pouches. One is a wet bag. One is for just carrying. Then the one that we want to do for the campaign is going to be 20,000. It has 4 pads, 2 pouches, and 2 panties.
Amazing.
Yes. Why? Because our pad is irrelevant without a panty.
Definitely.
Like I told you the story in Karamoja, even if you give them pads and you don't give them panties, you're wasting your time. Also, there is need for sensitization, in places like Karamoja. Even before we give them the product, we need to tell them why it's important for them to use pads. Because they need to work, they need to be clean, they need to, there's a lot of sensitization that needs to be done. Not even Karamoja alone, even here in Kampala. So we put in materials like our book that communicates to people about why it's important, school going out.
It's more like a user manual?
Yes, a user manual. So these are things that are...
Creativity is a top notch.
Yes, because we want to deliver to the end user. And very soon we also want to add soap. Also, we want to add for them how to do it yourself ideas of how to make your own reusable pad in case ours.
You include in the other.
Yes, that is our bonus back to the give.
Jesus.
Maybe in future, somehow, somewhere, someone can think of, let me start supplying my person who I bought from.
Aye.
Yeah, because we're thinking big.
The thing, for me, what I get from you is basically you've existed because of synergy.
Yeah, that is it.
That is it. And that's what most young people starting up should understand, that when you're starting up, you need some people.
You do so much.
You need some people, definitely, because if you think you're going to stand alone,
you're lying. Stand together, you
reach
far. When you stand alone, you cover small distance. When you stand with others, you go far.
Definitely.
Today I was talking to the programs manager of the Innovation Village, Mr. Anthony, and we're discussing these things. So he told me, Bena, why don't you actually start establishing these things in places like Gulu? I was like, that is it. You're reading my mind. What if we had people producing pads for Wabibi in Gulu?
Yeah.
In Karamoja.
You
so
have
if
branches.
Someone wants in Karamoja, you just refer them, go to this place.
The branch, yeah.
Go to here. Go to there. You don't have to even, worry about things like, transport. No. All we have to do is market the product within that area.
Newe nonyeza sente. Waline mu Airbnb. What happened?
Mwana watu.
I saw
Oyo mkwano gwange Tobias. Manyi bela n'omutima omulungi abantu bajja kwagala. They will trust you with a lot of things. Tobias came to the ghetto.
Okay.
In Karamoja. That day we had a ghetto caravan. It was an event organized by a German friend called Olga. So he came, he's also a German. He came natusanga. Me, I'm a very friendly person. I like to make friends, and I am very I love to talk with people. And Tobias muguza wallet najikola mu patched paper mukavera. Najikutungisa buvera. I made a fused fabric out of wasted material, katingo buvera. So I diffused them. I think these guys of Reform Africa are doing it. Aweko is doing it. So tunga bulungi nyo wallet nenjiguza Tobias was like, damn, I like you already. I want you to be my house manager for my Airbnb. Nemugamba wanji. Yes, of course. Let's go. Hey, immediately tandika, and we're going smoothly, but COVID. Yeah, so that day we were picking up those things. One of the people, when I linkola naye, so Tobias asked me to get a store. But then I was like, why am I getting a store? Ate ngono mwana baine wabwe nyumba, at least katupangise nyumba yawe asigale gali yako ku sente ezo. So twali tugenze mbaro ekyo kujja ebintu. Yeah, and that is Tobias. He's my very good friend. He's a serious environmentalist. Era oyo guy atuke nagamba the pollution in Kampala is so bad. Oh my God, it's so bad. Ngayamba debu mask kunyindo ngabu detecting an pollution. So it's true, Kampala is totally polluted.
Yeah, we really need to take action in terms of Environmental
pollution
action,
and
yeah.
environmental action.
Preservation.
Yeah.
So, Bernadette, this is going to be out tomorrow. You're going to be
Yes.
celebrated. For the people that may watch this, please show some love to Bernadette.
Please show me some
What's your page?
love. I'm on Facebook. I'm using Being Bernadette. Yeah, Being Bernadette. Or you can search for Ras Galdem. If you search for Ras Galdem, you know, in the ghetto they call
Galdem?
her Ras Galdem.
You have to Galdem. What, boy?
Yes, I Grace higher. Why I say?
Now, fine.
My fetwa kulira kamocha buli mwana we kamocha ayogera patwa. Era for me when I reach
Now,
kamocha,
let's do this.
we stop speaking
for
Luganda.
For
We
this
speak
segment
patwa.
of the interview, let's do patwa.
Yes, I.
So,
Tell I why I say.
so
Me could I tell the people out there. Panda Instagram, you could search for Selassie Bernadette Ojao. My firstborn is called Selassie. My business page is on Twitter at Pads for Her. You could search for Pads for Her. I mean for Wabibi Pads at Wabibi Pads. Then my Twitter handle could be Bernadette Ojao or Creative Bernard 1. Yeah, 1. And then on my business page on Facebook is Pads for Her Uganda. Yeah.
Yeah, there so.
And then in Instagram you could find at Pads for Her.
Yeah.
Some small letters, no spaces.
Last time you have
Yes, you know.
So you like music?
So much. Me I love reggae music.
What's your favorite reggae tune?
My favorite reggae tune is by a guy called Chronix.
Which one?
Story of my life, ordinary person just like me. If you take a look inside,
Pew,
you
pew,
see
pew.
the great things that people do.
Wow, going there.
Changing life day and night. Nothing I ever do. You know, it never makes to the news, but hey, currently the news are getting to know some. I am a hero that nobody celebrates. But if one person remembers my name, that means I've made a change.
The news don't matter.
Yeah, man.
The impact matters, right?
Yes, sorry, you know. So me could I tell people every day. Then I also love gospel music, but basically my best music genre is reggae. I love reggae. It puts me together. It's so good to my body. Meditate. And it has a message. And we're going for Turbulence at the Uganda Museum on the 13th.
You turn up.
I could have passed my gun, but I won't.
Yeah.
Oh, no, check it. Francis, no, I told you one. So anyway, yes.
Pola.
So I love reggae music. It's my favorite. Actually, all my my friends, they do love reggae music.
You skunk indica.
Never tell them. They watch out. You could have not said this on the news. Want them to come for me. It's a plant. Could I take it in a tea?
That thing is an herb, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, man. So, what's your favorite food? You know, we go play a little you know, simple questions.
Me, I love rice and peas.
Rice and peas.
Yes, I.
Wow. What about kalo?
Me love kalo with fish.
Kalo with fish.
Yes, I.
Who cook for this delicacy over here?
I and I. Me, I love to cook. Cooking is a hobby. Me love to cook and me love to cook nice food. And me love to cook and everybody say, it's a yummy food.
Yum.
Yum is a yummy.
I don't know.
Them not know what.
Are you a Rasta woman, yeah?
Yes, I.
We not dread.
Me
We
order
don't
bread
have-
of 8 years.
You order dread?
Cut it off. Me got her pregnant with my daughter Gabriela in Etana. She make I and I cut off me dread.
Why?
The mood swing, everything.
Oh,
Go
the
and me.
itching ear, you know.
No, I didn't itch I and I, but me just didn't want it. Me want to be free, stand down in a shower, pour the water upon my body without any hindrance. So every air. See, me could have pour water upon myself and the air going like this. The head run like this.
You feel uncomfortable.
What the hell? Get the Caesar them.
Cut
Me
off,
have
you
got
know.
the Caesar.
So you don't have to have a dread to be Rasta, you know.
know, of course.
Rasta is the art.
You know.
Oh, yeah, man.
Most people now know. A lot of them out there, they have a dread, but them not Rasta. Them a do a lot of wicked things.
Yeah, man.
So it make them abuse the Rasta.
Yeah,
But it a divine conception.
Mm-hmm.
Like I and I me know me creator. By the way, me King Jesus Christ.
Yes, I am.
You know say.
You know, sir.
Even I listen last he said there is a higher being. You can't I mean always say why I run to a man you say
When there is a higher being, you know.
Him a creator of the heavens and the earth and everything in it. The air we are breathing every day. There is a higher being.
Yes, I am.
So that's my father, my Abba Father, the Lion of Judah.
Yeah, man.
Yes, I.
You know, you tell me your story and I could just make you feel a lot of God in
yes,
there.
I. You know, say. So that's why you see me have a good big heart for everybody. Me could have been like everybody else to say, me I go and do this for myself alone. Me not need women to work for I and I. Me not need to give out these pads. But members say, we are supposed to do good thing for mankind, such that them know that him there, he cares for them. And most people know and feel the love when they see that something good have been done for them.
Yeah, man.
But if you if you don't do anything for anybody, you can't get them have a reason to say that there is a out there.
That's why I love this artist called Davido. Him have a slogan called man. He say we rise by lifting others.
The reality.
That brother made a fundraiser. He made a post on Instagram during his birthday. Brother said, all my brothers, my friends send me 1 million naira for my birthday. You know, they sent him millions, 200 million naira. And you know what the brother did? Him give away the money to charity.
Yasin, he give it out.
And yesterday, about one, he sold out O2 Arena, the biggest arena in London.
Why? Because him got a big...
Man.
See, me love this man, Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Boy, I get a money off a boxing. Him run, give it out to him people in a where, sir? In a place. What is this? With this thing that we...
This country with Part Telemundo.
He might give out. But this other brother, he might get money, run out in a hotel with woman, them, do whatever. But he not
me away that boy.
You know, yeah. So, if they must stand before you, of course, me not say me judge.
You can't judge. Leave judgment to God.
Yeah, judgment is for God. But even I can see. So if you bring them two brothers, me I
go with back.
Yeah,
man.
Because me know, this boy I do it good with his money.
Yeah, man.
Him do great with his money. He help people. Don't I him yard so.
Man.
That is it.
You're part of Chris, brother.
Yeah, you know, say everybody pana Karamoja. Most are we.
I feel on the
communication.
I feel on. You got the book.
You know, say we are playing music pan and nothing. Me listen to reggae music. Me love the reggae. Me follow the reggae. Me all me circle them a speak patwa. Sometimes you find us chatting a serious part when you're like, how I woo.
Wow, God. Man.
My kids, my children, them are reggae artists. Them banding them.
Wow, God.
My first born him called Gabriel Selassie. It was of love or reggae. My second born Raphael Marley. My third born she are called it Tana Gabriela.
You know what? This interview has taken another
Africa.
Another time. Me, I don't know why I'm going to do it for this segment, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much for listening to this podcast.
That was just
a bit of what we can anyway.
Okay.
So we can
talk to them people. Them.
Yes, I. So I would like to wish every woman out there, every woman home, every woman at office, every woman doing whatever you're doing, I'd like to wish you a happy International Women's Day. And I would like to say that start. You never know who will follow you. You never know how much impact you'll create. You'll never know who you will be standing in the gap for. I started small, and today I can guarantee that my tomorrow is going to be bright. I am using the seeds that I've been given to plant the forest that I want. So I wish you a wonderful nice women.
Can you
say,
turn
and
that
God
a
bless
little
you.
bit of a part where, that message strong,
Yes, So me, I wish every woman out there, Queen Empress, you could do everything nice. Now fear, you could once that the most time in my day, I could have give you strength to do everything. Me, I wish you are International Women's Day. It are there for women, celebrating women, lifting up women. Lift up another woman. Now sit down in your yard and start yap around about another woman. Do something. Support a woman, lift up a woman, and do great and make the woman species a blessed one. Remember, say, we are the nature, we are the blessings, we are the children of Zion, and we are the Zion daughter. See?
Yeah.
So a Zion daughter is like a woman in a Proverbs 31. So me could say every woman run back a yard, go and read the Proverbs 31. It's a chapter pan the Bible. Me I live pan the Bible it my life. It give me guidance.
Yes,
So me wish every woman a blessed International Women's Day out there in Africa, Europe, everywhere. Run with your blessings.
Say no more.
Boom.
Kaboom.
Yes, I.
Well, guys, I've enjoyed this podcast. It has been, the funny thing is that I've been struggling to get a name for this podcast. And I failed to get it. So I just said, let me just call it a podcast.
The podcast.
Yeah,
yes.
Just talk about stuff. And I'm very happy because I've been able to share and learn from Bernadette. And I hope you guys have also learned. These are conversations we should keep having here and there, because people like Bernadette need to be heard out there, and you people also need to learn from Bernadette to be inspired. So I won't go beyond this. I'm just wishing you a happy Mother's Day, a happy Women's Day.
Yes.
And like Bernadette said, I mean, charity has to start from home. You don't have to expect support from out before you even support your own people. So women have to be able to support themselves in one or another. Don't be throwing stones on yourselves and bad mouthing each other and all that kind of stuff. It's not good. So happy Women's Day, and hope you guys keep safe. We won't say more than this again.
Be blessed.
Buyaka.
Buyaka. On fire.
Yeah, in a patwa. Yeah.
Ah, then they don't know.